We're at the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, and we'll be starting at the Grand Sable Visitor Center. We parked our truck at Munising Falls. We caught a ride with the Ultram bus and drove up here, and now we'll be hiking back to 42.5 miles. And this is where we'll be starting. 5.8 to the log slide. We'll have to do a short road hike for 0.6 of a mile. Here we're coming up on Grand Sable Lake. We'll have some large sand dunes to the right. We just finished up the short road hike. It's 4.5 to the log slide. Now, this trail did run back into the woods on the other side of this lake. You can see those sand dunes, and where we crossed on the road back over there. Look at the size of these ferns.
Crazy.
That's a neat part of the forest. And it is very warm today. They're predicting in the mid-80s and a chance of thunderstorms for near the end of this trip. Saturday night, Sunday. Other than that, it's supposed to be overall pretty good weather, but it is humid. And now we'll be coming out of woods and crossing H58. You have to watch for some, sounds like motorbikes coming. It looks like we came up to a sign here. It's a Massey Homestead Campground. We'll be staying at the 7 Mile Creek Campground tonight.
82 degrees right now.
Yeah, it looks like we'll be finishing up this section of trail, 5.8 miles. And we've come up to a log slide. First we'll take a look at this building. The large wheels here, this is logging equipment they used many years ago. They drag logs with this underneath the wheels, under the axle part. Now I'm going to take a look at the sand dunes, the log slide. Now we get to go right up here. And of course, it's always fun walking in sand. You want to climb down the other side and climb back up it?
You first.
They say it can take up to 2 hours to get back up. And you see some kids climbing down it and off in a distance. It's a long ways down there.
Oh, we did. It didn't take that long with the kids.
Wow, look at the sand dunes off in the distance. And on the other side you see the Grand Sable lighthouse, and we'll be going over there shortly. .0 to the Grand Sable lighthouse, 3.5 Hurricane River. Well, here's a steep hill we get to go down. Nothing too difficult around here. Like I say, most of these hills will range anywhere from maybe 40 feet up to 100 feet or so. Wow, that looks like there's a lot of erosion around here. The stream. Yep, the Grand Sable East Campground. It's a nice area right here. A small walkway right down to Lake Superior. You can see the dunes off in the distance. Well, it looks like we came up to the lighthouse. We'll be continuing on the North Country Trail, 1.5 miles to Hurricane River. We'll be actually going down this road. Now we decided to stop right here. right in the area where we had the shipwrecks. It's hard to find, but there is some debris along the shoreline. We're now walking through the Hurricane River Campground. They have regular campsites here, bathrooms, there's some garbage. We emptied some of our garbage over there. Now we just got a few more miles to our campsite, and I think within a half an hour we're going to stop and have our lunch break. And this will be Hurricane River. I think this would be a perfect spot to stop and have our lunch. A picnic table right along Hurricane River. I'm crossing a stream, a good water source. There's plenty of water sources on this trail. There's a couple stretches when you're up on the high banks or cliffs. You may have a hard time during the dry season, but overall there's plenty of streams, and you got Lake Superior to filter water from. Yeah, I've still got maybe about 3 or 4 more miles to our campsite. We're passing by another campground. This one's called the Benchmark. This is a 12-mile beach.
This is a blues and turquoise.
We just finished walking through the 12-mile campground. It's more of a car camping, a lot of tents, RVs, campers. So far this trail that I've done today overall has been easy, but there's a lot of sand like you can see. It takes a little longer when you hike through the sand. A harder surface is actually easier. 7-mile group site, point 2, Fox River pathway is to the left here. 3 miles to Kingston Lake. I'll have to check out that sometime. We have some kind of trail system that goes in a Hiawatha National Forest. Sites 4 and 5. I have no idea. Oh, this has got to be a campground. Uh, 7-mile campground. So your group ring. Yep. So you just search for a campsite that's available. And we'll be taking campsite number 1. We now have our hammocks roughed in. And tonight I'll be going back to using my Dutch half-foot hammock because it's ultralight and packed a lot smaller. And my Costco top quilt, it's rated for around 55 degrees, so that should be perfect for tonight. Then I have my summer underquilt, and that's rated for around 45-50 degrees for comfort level. Of course, tonight's low is supposed to only get into the low to mid 60s. And my wife's using the Darien Dream hammock. She has a 20-degree underquilt. That's the only one she has, so she's just going to use that for tonight. Then she has a Costco top quilt, and that one's also rated down to about 55 degrees. And we both using edge tarps. Okay, dinner tonight. So what do you got in there? That's mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes with salt and pepper. Let's see, chives. Then I have, of course, some powdered milk, the instant potato flakes, chorizo, if that's how they say, or chorizo bacon bits, and then we're gonna put some cheese in it. Doesn't look very good after hauling it in, but in it goes.
Right, with it being 80.
And it's shredded. There we go. It actually maintained its inside shape. See? They're shreds.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, not bad. So,
then tomorrow night's Mountain House meals again, but
right.
At least we'll have one good night of some homemade food.
So, yeah. No, look over to make like some type of enchilada. Remember that dried beef you can buy in a jar that's rolled?
Okay, now we're going to take a walk down and take a look at the sunset. Wow, this is a near perfect sunset. There's a few clouds off in the background. It is beautiful. Then to the right, I'm seeing some flashes of lightning. There's a storm. And we'll see you in the morning. Good night. We have camp all broke down now. We filter our water. We get an early start in the trail. It was warm last night. It's very humid. And it's 70 degrees when I woke up this morning. A rabbit on trail this morning. Not much for views this morning. It's all foggy. It should break up in a little while. Of course, they're calling for thunderstorms tonight. And now we're coming up to the old famous Pictured Rocks car. It's gotta be one of the most photographed items in this area. And this car's an old Plymouth. Looks like Trapper's Lake is straight ahead, 0.5. I think I gotta turn right here for North Country Trail. Now you can see the cliff views are getting closer. A little later on we'll be over at Grand Portal Point. It's right there. But for now, still got a ways to go. We have just under 2 miles to Beaver Creek. So then we'll have about 10 miles to Mosquito Campground. You can see the sand dunes that we're walking on right now. It's all sand in the trails. Another rabbit on trail. Now we just had a storm move in. It's getting extremely dark, windy, and the air is actually cold. We're watching a fog right up to Lake Superior. So far it hasn't rained. Yeah. And Beaver Creek could be right over there. And it empties right into Lake Superior. And you guys, check out this log jam. It's huge. Wow. Was it happened from that huge storm that they had? Okay, now I think we're going to stop and have our breakfast about 6 miles into our hike. We'll still have about 10 more miles to go. 5.3 miles, Chapel Beach. We made it to this junction. The Beaver Lake parking lot is in that direction. And coves will be starting in about 1/4 of a mile. So now from this point on, we'll have all cliff views. And the other 20 some miles was mostly like sand dunes and beaches. This was a real cool area with like a cave formed down there, but it's now all caved in. You see a huge pile of rocks. Now we're going to take a walk down here. There's some more cool rock formations in the water. Have you seen anything like that? Now we're getting our first real good view of Grand Portal. Here we're coming up to some more amazing views here. It's a long ways up here. It's starting to get hot outside. It's in the 80s right now, mid 80s. It could reach 90, and it's humid. Every now and then we'll just dump a little water on us. And I'll be looking for spray falls coming up soon, and we'll filter some water there. There, we're at Spray Falls overlook area. So we'll go down there and take a look before we filter water at the falls. And that's Spray Falls. And this is a stream that makes Spray Falls. I'm going to stop here. It's a good spot to filter some water. It's another really cool area. It's a huge opening. Awesome views. And I can hear the thunderstorm coming. Yesterday it missed us, but who knows about today. Another one of the stunning views. Look at the size of that cliff. Then we made it to Chapel Rock. It should be the Chapel River. And there's Chapel Beach. We're now taking a trail that goes around Grand Portal. And our campsite will be just under 4 miles. You can see a group of kayakers out there in Lake Superior. And you see some of the progress we made so far today alone. You've got Spray Falls right over there. And somewhere along 12 Mile Beach is where we camped at last night. And we're going to drop our packs just for a few minutes. And this is one of our favorite spots. And you get the view of Grand Portal. And look at that color of water. This is gorgeous. And here's one more view of some awesome cliffs. And the highest area at Picture Rocks is Grand Portal Point. It's just over 200 feet high. It's another beautiful area. There's a lot of good views. It's a nice open area. I believe this is Indian Head I'm standing on. Should be able to see it on one of the cliffs over on the other side. And this is a view of Indian Head from the other side. We should get a couple more good views before we reach our campsite at the Mosquito Campground. And I'm looking forward to making a nice dinner tonight. Actually, I think it's a mountain house meal. It's chicken and dumplings. And set up your hammocks and just relax. After a 16-mile day today, and it was 14.5 yesterday, and we will finish it up with 12 tomorrow. And just before the Mosquito Campground, that's Lover's Leap. There, we made it to Mosquito Campground. And now we're going to look for one of these campsites to set up our hammocks. Yeah, I've never seen so many flies like this.
Ouch! This is so unfair. You wait.
With thunderstorms moving in, I think we're going to jump into the hammocks early tonight. So good night. Good morning. It is 6 a.m. We had a really good thunderstorm come through last night. A lot of lightning, high winds, rain. But we stayed dry and we had plenty of bugs. Waking up this morning, we had quite a few mosquitoes already. And we're going to make a quick breakfast and then we'll start getting on trail early. I'm going to take a quick walk down by a lake, see what it looks like this morning. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. It's not humid like it has been the last few days. Here we now have our hammocks all broken down, packed up, and we're ready to get back on the trail. Okay. Here we're coming up to Mosquito River, and this was a lot shallower last night. I filtered water right down here. I could actually walk out there. So it shows you it rained quite a bit. Now the biting flies have been awful in some sections at Pictured Rocks. You can see she's swatting them with that branch. They're all over her pack. Mosquitoes haven't been real bad. They're out, but nothing like these little biting flies. And it's been very humid, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. There from the trail you can see a good view of Lover's Leap, they call it. Still a few bugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the views at Pictured Rocks is between Beaver Creek and to Munising Falls. Then up the log slide had some nice views. But the last few miles here, I haven't been videotaping a whole lot, but we have quite a few videos that show the areas in more detail. And next I think we will be reaching Mosquito Beach in a couple miles. And have some nice cliff views, Lover's Leap. Then there's a Rainbow Cave way back there. So we come up to a potato patch campsites, and right next to it is this nice waterfall. We're now passing by the Miners Beach and on our way up to the Miners Castle, and that's about 1 mile. And then we'll take a break there, and it'll be about 7 miles to the finish to Munising Falls. We have now made it to the Miners Castle Visitor Center. You can also get some excellent views of Miners Castle and the overlook. 4.9 miles to Sandpoint. So we'll be leaving the Castle Rock Visitor Center. And just about 7 miles to go. We're coming up to an opening. Should be some really nice views in here. Check this out. About 200 feet up over Lake Superior. Grand Island right over there. We're coming up to Cliff's Campground. Here's that view. It's a landslide opening. Of course, you know the cliffs will give away sometimes. Makes nice openings for viewing. That Cliff's Campground is just maybe 100 yards back in there. And this will be our last campground that we pass. And there's a deer right over there. Oh, now we're coming up this really neat waterfall. One of my favorite spots on this section of the trail. Like bored?
So peaceful.
Peaceful, I know.
I saw them waterfalls.
Okay, we're all done here. The filtered water got cleaned up, and now we're back on the trail. Now we can see Sandpoint from here, so it means we're getting closer to the finish. There, we made it to our final sign. 2.7 miles to Munising Falls. Sandpoint is 0.8 to the right. So we got almost 40 miles done now. What do you think? I can hear a waterfall. Nice bridge. Oh, this is a good view.
Remember, hun, follow the blue blazes.
See. Yeah. Right down the cliff. And we have one more cool looking waterfall on this trail. Now it looks like we still have to take the trail detour. So it'll make this journey an extra 1/10 of a mile or maybe 2/10 of a mile longer. And we're coming out of the woods to Munising Falls parking lot to the left. So just a few hundred feet down that way and then we'll be done. We have just completed our 42.5 mile hike at Pictured Rocks, and thanks for watching Up Trail 71. And now from leaving the waterfall, we get to go down this steep hill. That was close. Uh-oh, that was not a good fall. Yeah, that will happen.